Every night, millions of people press play on Netflix, YouTube, Disney+, whatever your favorite is. We think streaming is clean, effortless, and zero cost. But that's a lie, because hidden behind the glow of your screen is an invisible trail of electricity, carbon emissions, and environmental cost. This is the story of how streaming video is quietly fueling climate change, and what it means for all of us. Part 1. Setting the scale. Streaming and video are no longer just entertainment. They're among the major drivers of global internet traffic and a growing source of carbon emissions. A 2025 report from FutureSource with InterDigital found that TV and video streaming account for about 4% of total global emissions. That's double the emissions from aviation. Another study estimates that video streaming contributes a considerable share of greenhouse gases in the ICT, Information and Communications Technologies, sector. Streaming, including video and gaming, will make up much of consumer internet traffic. To put that in perspective, if streaming were its own country, its emissions would rival those of mid-sized nations. Part 2. Where do emissions come from? Tuto 330. Understanding how streaming causes emissions means looking at three main stages: data centers and servers, where content is stored; data transmission to content delivery networks, CDNs, sending that content across fiber via internet routers, wireless networks; end-user devices, TVs, phones, laptops that display the video. It might surprise you. The biggest share of energy use often comes not from the servers, but from devices and transmission. For example, the IEA, International Energy Agency, found that when streaming 1 hour of video, streaming through a phone over Wi-Fi in standard definition uses about 0.037 kWh. Device consumption often counts for 75% of the energy used per hour of video, with data transmission around 20 to 25%, and data centers only 5%. Also, using higher resolutions, HD, 4K, multiplies the energy use significantly. A big TV panel draws far more power than a phone screen. Part 3. Real numbers and examples. Let's put faces on the numbers. Streaming 1 hour of video generates about 55 grams of CO2 equivalent in some estimates. If you binge-watch about 4 hours of video a day, that adds up to around 230 grams CO2c daily. That's comparable to driving a gas car for a short distance. Looking at platforms, Netflix alone streamed 94 billion hours of content in 2024. Its streaming, data transmission plus infrastructure plus device usage emissions are just one part of its larger footprint. But it's non-trivial. Another report, TVs generated an estimated 54 million tons of CO2 in 2024. That's emissions from TV sets alone, plus set-top boxes, etc. There are about 2.2 billion TVs globally, including 858 million 4K TVs, up 218% since 2022. These 4K models consume, on average, 1.76 more energy than standard HD TVs. Part 4. The hidden burdens. These numbers alone are big, but the hidden costs are often unseen. Grid carbon intensity matters. If electricity is generated by coal or gas emitting CO2, then streaming in those areas carries a heavier burden per hour. If it's solar or wind powered, less. Scope 3 emissions: indirect, devices manufacture, supply chain, transport, cooling of data centers, etc. In many cases, these make up the majority of a streaming platform's carbon impact. For instance, Netflix has reported that its Scope 3 emissions, including cloud computing, content production, etc., are much larger than its direct operations. Device lifetimes matter. A phone or TV that is replaced every few years adds extra emissions due to manufacturing, shipping, disposal. User habits, resolution choice, HD versus 4K, binge viewing versus shorter sessions, streaming over Wi-Fi versus mobile networks. Mobile tends to be more carbon intensive, keeping devices plugged in on standby, etc. Part 5. Consequences if we don't change. If current trends continue, the ICT sector's emissions will rise. Data centers are part of that. One forecast from Morgan Stanley estimates data centers may emit 2.5 billion metric tons of CO2e globally through 2030. Growing energy demand will strain grids, especially in regions dependent on fossil fuels. The environmental effects will include more greenhouse gas accumulation, more heat waste, more resource use, electricity, device materials, more e-waste as devices are replaced. We might see a larger share of global emissions coming from digital media, changing what was once considered a low-impact entertainment into a major climate factor. Part 6. What can be done? Solutions. But there's hope. Here are practical ways to lower the hidden cost, as individuals, platforms and governments, device efficiency and lifespan. Buy energy-efficient TVs, phones, devices with better power management. Use devices longer. Avoid replacing unless necessary. Choose lower resolutions unless you need Ultra HD. Streaming in HD versus 4K significantly increases power use. Use Wi-Fi over mobile data where possible. Wi-Fi is usually more energy efficient. Platform responsibility. Streaming services can optimize content delivery networks, CDNs, to serve content from closer servers, reduce wasted transmission. Use renewable energy for data centers. Policy and infrastructure governments can incentivize clean energy for data infrastructure. Regulations or standards on energy efficiency for devices, data centers. Mindful streaming habits. Pause instead of streaming endlessly. Download content when offline and avoid repeated streaming, especially of high resolution. Turn off devices when not in use. Adjust brightness, etc. Streaming gives us instant stories, laughs, escapes. It connects us. But there's a cost we often don't see. Every hour we stream, every device we plug in, every upgrade we pursue, there's energy behind it. Carbon, consequences. The question isn't whether to stream or not. It's how we stream. If we change habits, if platforms evolve, if energy becomes cleaner, then maybe we can keep our entertainment while cooling our planet, because stolen nights of streaming shouldn't cost us the future. Settings. Use Byte-Sized docs as watermark text. Add clean subtitles with no outline. Use only generated clips. Use any voice with the old, husky British voice for the narrator.